Then, as we have seen with most of the questions that we are doing, the first question usually starts with the asymptote. Okay? Now, you saw the previous one that we were doing, they didn't say determine the equation of the asymptote, but they said determine the coordinate of A, where A was the point of contact between the what then? The asymptote. So there are many ways in which this question can be asked. So here, we are given the diagram, and then we are given f of x, and then now the only difference is that now we have f of x and g of x. Okay? What is g of x? G of x is a straight line. We've already dealt with the parabolic function and a straight line. Okay? Now let's look at the hyperbolic function and a what and a straight line. So the f represents the hyperbolic function, g represents the straight line. And then their point of contact is where these two graphs intersect each other. And then they say, well, that one is C and one and D. And then they say A and B are the X and the Y intercept. Again. And then the first question says, determine the equations of the asymptotes. Okay, asymptotes, by now, everyone can get an asymptote. If we are going to get an asymptote, Sabine, give me the equations of the asymptotes here. It says which we have x plus 3, which is going to be 0. And then it says which x is going to be what? 1 mark for this. And then it says which we supposed to say y is going to be whatever the value of q is. What is q here? Minus 1. Then we get 2 marks. And then the nicest thing about this question is that it always has 2 marks. So we have our 2 marks. And then they say determine the domain of F. Now we know something about the domain again. Now, what is going to be the domain? Domain is going to be everything except this thing again. So we're going to say number 2, x is going to be an element of all the real numbers, but x cannot be what? X cannot be minus 3. And you see this one assists you because you already got it from the equation of the asymptote. And then number 3, they say calculate the length of OB. Now we want to calculate what is going to be the length of O to B. Now we need to know what are the coordinates of B again. And then what did they say what B was B? B is the y-intercept again. Is the y-axis. Yeah, is the y-intercept of what? Of F again. Now how do you get the y-intercept? X should be 0. So I'm going to say we have y, which is going to be given as 1 all over 0 plus 3 minus 1. And then if you type this in your calculator, you get minus 2 of 3. And then it means which you have 0, which goes with 1 with minus 2 of 3. Now, guys, I said this before. I said to you, if you're calculating the length, I get it from here to here, it's minus 2 of 3 again. Now, if you are talking about length, it's a scalar. We are not interested in the direction. This is just the direction. It's 2 of 3 in the negative direction. We are not interested in the direction. So if they ask you which one is going to be the length, you can tell them that OP is going to be 2 over 3. If this one is hard for you, use the distance formula. Actually, you have this point here. This one here, it's 0 and 0. And then this one here, it's 0, which goes with what? With minus 2 over. But we'll see which we're still going to get exactly the same thing here, which is what? With 2 over 3. You take the 2 points of x, you say this one plus this one, you add them. You just take the 2 points of x, you add them, and then they're going to give you what? The length or the distance. Now let's go to 6.3.2. 6.2.3. 6.3.2. It says calculate OA again. Now what is A here? Is the x-intercept again. What do you know about the x-intercept? You see what they're asking x-intercept in another way. Can you see that again? This is x-intercept, but it was asked in another way. So whenever you're still supposed to get the x-intercept, which is going to be equal to 1 over x plus 3, which is going to be minus 1 again. Take this one to this other side, it says which you have 1, which is going to be equal to 1 over x plus 3. What do you do from here? You cross multiply again. It says which x plus 3 is going to be 1 again. Multiply by 1. And then you divide by 1 both sides again. And then you say you have x plus 3, which is going to be 1. Take this one to this other side, it says which x is going to be 1 minus. Therefore, what is going to be our x? Minus 2. So, in other words, they're saying to you, if distance from here to here, it's 1, this is minus 2, right? But the distance itself is going to be 2. The distance, it's a scalar. A scalar, we are not interested in the direction. It's not a vector. So if vector, you give us both the magnitude and the direction again. Remember what is the negative? The negative is just giving you the direction to say which it's 2, but you are going towards the negative side. It's 2, but you are going towards the positive side. Okay. Next question says determine the coordinates of D and 1 and C. What is happening at D and C? Our two graphs are intersecting with each other again. Now, if our two graphs are intersecting with each other, we come and say we have, it's number 4. And then on number 4, we are going to have 1 all over x plus 3 minus 1, which is going to be 1 all over 2x. Now, how did we work this one before? What did we do before? We started by saying, we said we're going to take this one to this other side again. And then we have 1 all over x plus 3, which is going to be equaling to 1 all over 2x plus 1 again. And then after that, what did we do? We said we're going to cross multiply. If you cross multiply, this one comes here, and then we are going to have 1, which is going to be 1 all over 2x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 3. Again. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is to multiply, you're going to point arrow it again. So if you follow, you say this one multiplied by this one, it gives us 1 all over 2x. This one multiplied by this one, it gives us plus 3 all over 2x again. This one multiplied by this one. This one multiplied by this one, plus 3. You still have 1 this side again. If you take this 1 to this other side here, it's going to become what? Negative. But you still have like terms. Can you see these 2 again? It's 2 there like terms. So you're going to say you have 0, which is going to be 1 all over 2x squared. This one and this one. So you have 2/3 plus 1. You get plus 5 all over 2x again. And then you have 3 minus 1, which is going to give you a plus 2. Now, if you are going to use a quadratic formula, you can use it from here. You can say A is what, B is what, or C is what. If you want to use another bracket, then I would suggest you remove the 2 here. How do you remove the 2? You're going to multiply each and everything by 2, by whatever is on the denominator. You're going to multiply by 2. So I'll come and multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2, multiply this by 2. And then this one multiplied by 2 gives me 0. And then this one and this one, it gives me x squared. This one and this one, this 2 and this 2, they're going to divide each other, and then I'm left with 5x. This one and this one here, they're going to give me plus 4. Then I am going to be able to put it inside the bracket. It's x, it's plus 4, it's plus 1. It says x is going to be minus 4, or x is going to be minus 1. Now we are looking for the coordinates, remember again. They said determine the coordinates of D and what and C. Now that you know it's x, you're not done. It's just x, you're not done. You still have to tell us what are going to be the coordinates. Okay, we want the coordinates. How are we going to get the coordinates? We take minus 4 and then we substitute it here again. And then we are going to have y, which is going to be 1 all over 2 multiplied by minus 4. And then if you type this, it gives you minus 2 again. And then the other one, it says, which you are going to have y, which is going to be 1 all over 2 multiplied by minus 1, which gives you minus 1 over 2. Now we need to come and decide which one is A, which one is D, which one is C. Which one should be C? Minus 4 and minus 2. Which one should be C? C. So we say, okay, C is going to be minus 1, which goes with 1. Okay. And then what is going to be D then? Minus 4 and minus 2. And then how would we mark this one then? We're going to say, it's going to be 6 marks for a question like this one. Equating these two. Simplification, putting it in a standard form. Getting both x values, D, and then getting C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get your 6 marks. As I was saying, guys, let's come and do the following. I talked for too much, man. I've been talking for long. Come and do this one now.